now from the IBA at Winchester, engineering announcements for the radio and television trade.
Hello and welcome to the IBA's weekly announcements for the radio and television trade. Satellite television, continuing our occasional series, the background to direct broadcasting at 12 GHz. In transmitter news, more extensions to the Channel 4 network and details of 3 new television relays. In Sussex, Eastbourne, in Dorset, Chilfroom and in Devon, Clennon Valley. More details later.
Recently, we looked at the general background to receiving television signals from space satellites. We saw that for DBS, direct broadcasting by satellite, the most suitable band for transmission is at 12 GHz. That's around 12,000 MHz. The idea is that individual homes can have their own mini-Earth station, picking up signals from a geostationary satellite positioned some 22,000 miles above the equator. And how big a dish will be needed? Well, we expect most viewers to be able to use one of around 45 centimetres in diameter. Some viewers may even be able to use a 30-centimetre dish, rather like a large saucepan lid.
5 satellite television channels are allocated to the UK, taken from the total of 40 channels in the broadcast band between 11.7 and 12.5 GHz. In a similar way to UHF, each channel has to be reused many times over by different countries. Most, like the UK, can have 5 channels each. Satellite orbital positions are spaced at 6-degree intervals above the equator. Interference can be avoided by making use of the directivity of the receiving dish, and also by having circular polarization, either left-hand or right-hand, for each country's group of channels.
Once the receiving dish has been set up, reception should be extremely reliable, with co-channel and adjacent channel interference practically engineered out of the system, and the same applies to ghosting. Our aim is to ensure good pictures for at least 99% of the time. That's rather better than the 95% we planned for on UHF. Several years ago, we carried out some propagation tests over a 2-year period. Receiving signals on a 3-metre dish from a low-power test satellite, fades of greater than 6 dBs occurred for only 32 minutes per year. The most likely problem for the DBS viewer is a dish full of melting snow, which could prevent reception completely.
So just how accurately will dishes have to be pointed? For a 45-centimetre dish, the beam width is about 4 degrees at 12 GHz. Compare that to 30 degrees or more for most UHF aerials. But to make the most of the incoming signal, the pointing accuracy needs to be about half a degree. So the dish needs to be very solidly mounted. It's no use putting it on a pole. Firm foundations are essential, but height isn't necessarily important. The dish can be on the ground, providing it has a clear, unobstructed view of the satellite. The satellite itself will be positioned above the equator, over the coast of Brazil. The satellite gets its power from solar cells, and placing the satellite to the west means that any eclipsing caused by the Earth takes place well after midnight. The exact angle of elevation of the receiving dish depends on where you are. In the north it's around 17 degrees in the Shetlands, but it's up to around 27 degrees in the south of England.
The signal level picked up by the dish is quite low, just a few microvolts. At 12 GHz, low-loss distribution generally means having to use a rigid metal waveguide, so instead the signals will be amplified and down-converted to about 1 GHz and fed to an indoor tuner and decoder using low-loss coaxial cable. The indoor unit processes the FM vision signal and decodes high-quality digital stereo sound. Eventually, it's likely that the indoor units will be built into the television set. The IBA franchises for the first 3 DBS channels have been awarded to British Satellite Broadcasting, and it's hoped to launch the satellite in around 1990. and it's possible that the initial cost of the dish and electronics to add to an existing television receiver could be £200 or less, with the prospect of a drop in price later. What's more, the picture quality from DBS will be better than the present PAL system. Stay with us for more on this in a couple of weeks.
Transmitter news next, starting with special announcements. In Somerset, Bruton is due to be off this morning between 9:30 and midday for an electrical inspection. In Stoke-on-Trent, Channel 4 from Fenton is due to be off today from 8 in the morning until 1 this afternoon. This is for maintenance work. In Devon, Totnes is expected to be off today between 10 and 3 because of work by the Electricity Board. In North Wales, Llanengen is due to be off today between 9:30 and 12:30 for essential maintenance. And in Greater Manchester, Saddleworth is off this morning between 10 and midday for aerial work.
In Wiltshire, Box is expected to be off tomorrow between 9:30 and midday for an electrical inspection. And Channel 4 from the Lancaster relay is planned to be off on Thursday between 8 and 1 for maintenance. In Norfolk, the 2-channel relay at Burnham will be off between 9 and 4 on Thursday because of work by the Electricity Board. Looking ahead to next week, Sutton Coldfield begins reduced power on Monday on ITV only, expected to last until Friday. This is for aerial maintenance, weather permitting. And on Monday afternoon, Oxford is expected to be on reduced power between 1:30 and 4:30. This is to allow electrical maintenance, and further daytime reduced power is expected to continue during the week.
New relays now, and Eastbourne is due back on the air on Monday the 2nd of February. Viewers in the service area using preamplifiers to receive Heathfield or Hastings are recommended to change over to the new relay. The station is designed to cover about 4,500 people in parts of central and southern Eastbourne. Programmes from TVS South East and TVAM will be on Channel 23, with Channel 4 on 30. The aerial group is A, vertically polarised. Eastbourne is due on the air on the 2nd of February.
In Devon and Tor Bay, a relay for the Clennon Valley is also expected on the air towards the end of February. The station will cover about 1,100 people in parts of the Clennon Valley and in Totnes Road, Paynton. Programmes from Television South West and TVAM will be on Channel 49, with Channel 4 on 42. The aerial group is B and the polarisation vertical. That's Clennon Valley, hoped to be ready towards the end of February.
In Dorset, a relay at Chilfroom is hoped to be ready in mid-February. This is for about 420 people in Maiden Newton, Cattystock, Chilfroom and Frome St Quintin. Programmes from HTV and TVAM will be on Channel 45, with Channel 4 on 2. The aerial group is B, but note the polarisation is horizontal. Chilfroom is hoped to be ready in mid-February.
Channel 4 next, and in Scotland, Kirkoswald is now on the air on Channel 32. But New Cumnock on 50 has been delayed a little and is now expected at the end of this week. Also due later this week in Haverfordwest, Broadhaven, with S4C on Channel 54. Now expected towards the end of next week, in Cornwall, Truro on Channel 54, and in Scotland, Braemar on Channel 49, Ballycoolish on 29, Onich on 54, and Kinloch Leven on 65. In Cornwall, Loo on Channel 50 is now expected in mid-February.
And that's all for this week, but if you have any technical queries on independent television or local radio, do contact us. Our address: Engineering Information Service, Independent Broadcasting Authority, Crawley Court, Winchester, Hampshire, postcode SO21 2QA. You can telephone our inquiry office on Winchester, area code 0962 822444. If it's cheaper, you can dial our London number 584-7011 and ask for engineering information. We'll be back on the air again next Tuesday at 9:15 and again in all regions except Wales at 12:15. So from me, Maury Nicholson, and from Janet Smythe, goodbye until next week.